天哪，这个世界有川普，干嘛要看 Netflix？ 干嘛要看 Marvel？ 干嘛要看玩命关头 Tokyo Drift？China. Just 2 days ago, Trump pulled off the ultimate Fast and Furious 10 move. Wakarikong, the orange man is drifting hard, yo. Aside from China's 145% tariffs, everyone else just gets 10. 那我猜蛮多台湾人应该很开心的吧 because the orange man lured the poo man into the ultimate honey trap. But like I said before, this is just a small part in his ultimate plan. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what it is. So, 准备的爆米花, and if you haven't yet, get it down in the link below because 事情真的很大条咯. Make sure. 哇，这个真的是美国真人秀诶 I mean, no one could keep up with the daily updates. Just an hour after we uploaded our last video, the entire situation flipped upside down.
He notes that China issued the retaliatory tariffs of 34% on top of their already record-setting tariffs, he says, going on to say, therefore, if China does not withdraw its 34% increase above their already long-term trading abuses by tomorrow, the United States will impose additional tariffs on China of 50%, effective from April the 9th.
The way things are playing out lately, it seems like this is all Trump's plan from the very beginning.
And we saw the successful negotiating strategy that President Trump implemented a week ago today. It has brought more than 75 countries forward to negotiate. It took great courage for him to stay the course until this moment. And what we have ended up with here, as I told everyone a week ago, they're in this very spot, do not retaliate and you will be rewarded. So every country in the world who wants to come and negotiate, we are willing to hear you. We're going to go down to a 10% baseline tariff for them, and China will be raised to 125 due to their insistence on escalation.
Now, maybe it was premeditated, but knowing Trump, it could have been a spur-of-the-moment idea. But what we do know for sure is that just 5 hours before Trump announced he paused tariffs for 75 countries, he was still on social media telling people to buy them stocks. And now, tons of people are accusing him of insider trading.
They missed no opportunity to take a dig at President Trump. It's pretty obvious that when the stock market's in a dip, that maybe if you have some money, you might consider investing and make some money when it picks back up again. I think any idea of insider trading is ridiculous.
And to make things even more sus, the orange man even said himself that people around him made a lot of money. So if anyone comes forward with even a modicum of evidence, 代誌大條咯.
You better be careful.
But despite all the madness, Trump paused tariffs for everyone except China.
President Trump made clear yesterday in his post on Truth Social, he has raised the reciprocal tariff rate on China to now 125%. That, of course, has been escalated multiple times due to China's retaliation. But that did not include the 20% tariff that he had already put into place on Chinese goods earlier this year over the trade of fentanyl. So it's about adding that 125 to that 20% that was already existing, which gets us to the total rate of 145%.
And then last night, this news dropped. And then, after the 145% tariffs hit, China didn't even dare to retaliate by raising tariffs on the states. Instead, they fired back in a different way.
China retaliated today by reducing the number of American films that can be shown there. What's your reaction to them now targeting cultural exports from the United States?
I think I've heard of worse things.
中国我跟你讲起来吼，美国的电影最近10几年没有美国人在看哦。
Weird.
When it comes to Disney and Marvel, even Americans are boycotting that shit. Now, at this point, the tariffs on China have been raised to 125%. That was until yesterday when this video suddenly blew up online.
我上个月不是接了一批铜的订单吗？
Last month, I took an order for a batch of copper parts. I've already bought all the materials. It cost tens of thousands. And everything has been cut, ground, washed, and engraved. It's not finished yet, but today the customer messaged me and said the delivery might be delayed. After customs clearance, the taxes have gone up too much. A TikToker who works as a bulk trade supplier shared in his video the huge pressure he's under after the sudden increase in US tariffs.
订单量5000多万美金，今年我们订单已经排到了26年的5月份。
Our orders are worth over $50 million US. This year, we're already booked through May 2026. But with this 30% tariff hike, the impact on us is huge. If you're a small startup, it's not such a big deal because you don't ship enough to fill an entire container. But for us, it hits hard. Our profit margins in bulk trading are already razor thin. Now with a 34% tariff, it's like getting knocked to the ground.
已经145%了 It's not just knocked down, it's buried beneath the ground. 在山上耶 And what's even crazier is that the comment section is almost entirely English-speaking users, all happier than a pig in shit.
Crazy how no one gave a shit when this happened in the US for the past 40 years.
As an American manufacturer, China now knows what we went through.
Now, do a report on how hard this was for American companies that went through this in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. They are all still here and still dealing with the pain.
You. The majority of the comment section is like a complete complaint fest. Tens of thousands of comments cheering about the decline of Chinese manufacturing. And check this, JD Vance, the current vice president, is actually one of the victims of China stealing American manufacturing jobs. And of course, this all started with a man that almost everyone loved, especially a particular intern, President Bill Clinton. While he was busy tutoring Monica on how to improve her oral dictation, he allowed China to slip in through the back and join the World Trade Organization.
Fuck.
So, based on the evidence placed before us, it would seem that when Trump goes after Chinese manufacturing, a lot of Americans are completely on board. But beyond bringing manufacturing back to the United States, there's actually something else that is even more important that Trump is up to. Once you figure this out, you'll know exactly what he wants and how to negotiate with him. So, to pay more about Mihua, link down below, because things are about to get even more 大鸡多屌. So, in the comment section of our previous video, there were quite a few of you who were opining that I might have a magic black as fuck crystal ball, because some of my predictions seem to be somewhat spot on. And even if Taiwan does give the US 0 tariffs, it actually won't help. I'm guessing Taiwan might reduce their tariffs to 0 for the US auto industry, and also for lower commodity taxes on American cars. And in exchange, Taiwan might get a 17% tariff or 3-month suspension of tariff implementation. But if you're new to this channel, wakarikong, this ain't the first time I got some shit right. And assuming a 75% turnout rate, we could guesstimate that Team Red would get around 520,000 votes from the independents, and Team Blue would get around 310,000, leaving the final tally at 2.98 million for Republicans and 2.88 million for Dems, making Pennsylvania orange by just 100,000 votes. And considering there are 210,000 fewer registered Democrats this year, it seems very, very likely.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Now, at the end, Trump won by 130,000 votes. 跟我猜的差3万而已. But it ain't really a prediction. It's more observation and calculation. So with that in mind, let me show you what I observed next.
3 years from now, the United States will celebrate the biggest and most important milestone in our country's history. 250 years of American independence. What a great country. And we have to keep it that way. But that's why, as a nation, we should be preparing for a most spectacular birthday party. We want to make it the best of all time. Here is my plan to give America's founding in 1776 the incredible anniversary it truly deserves. On day one, I will convene a White House task force called Salute to America 250. It will be responsible for coordinating with state and local governments to ensure not just one day of celebration, but an entire year of festivities across the nation, starting on Memorial Day 2025 and continuing through July 4th, 2026.
Now, I'm sure many of you have already forgotten about this one. This was one of Trump's campaign promises, and we all know that throwing a party isn't as hard as ending the Ukrainian war. Plus, it's a party. Trump's not gonna fuck this up.
You're not thinking about the House races in 2026, nor should you be, but here's a fact. House members are, and people who want to join the House of Representatives are. And that means planning, preparations, analysis already underway. The nonpartisan Cook Political Report has quite helpfully put out a new list of 18 potential toss-up races that could very much inform us about the next majority in the House of Representatives.
And come 2026, there's something else that's gonna go down. And fun fact, it's the one thing that nearly 80% of Americans completely ignore: the midterm elections. Because the midterms will decide the fate of Trump's legislative power for the last 2 years of his presidency.
You personally,
I think we ain't doing yet.
Now, the US midterm elections go down on November the 3rd, 2026, and America's 250th anniversary celebration has actually already begun in some cities, and is planning to run until July 4th of next year. And that 90-day tariff exemption negotiation deadline ends on July the 8th. So, Taiwan, along with 75 other countries, has exactly 1 year to allow Trump to beat his chest and boast loud and proud until the celebration ends. And the fact that it coincides with July the 4th ain't no coincidence. That is just enough time for Trump to go full-on braggadocious.
Right now, America has a tremendous amount of money. All because I told you, trust me, I'm a really smart person.
It's true.
Smarter than anyone, really. And definitely smarter than Joe Biden. And when it comes to stocks, definitely smarter than old Nancy Pelosi. So as I promised, I have done the impossible. I have brought American manufacturing back to America. And for those of you who may have forgotten, Xi Jinping is a very good friend. He's like my tiny little Pooh Bear full of honey. I like honey. It's sweet. But we have a great relationship. I know him really well. We get along fine. We're good friends. And in the name of celebrating our America's 250th anniversary, I'm going to raise tariffs on China to 250%. Because what do you have to lose?
I'm gonna bomb the shit out of them. It's true.
So Trump needs to deliver a solid report card to Americans within a year so he can flex at the 250th anniversary and help Republicans win the midterms. Then, if he doesn't manage a way to weasel in a third term,
Complete and total disaster.
Because then he can carry on with his unchecked legislative power for the final 2 years of his term. Because addressing the trade deficit through tariffs is really hard to see results within a year. So if there is a condition that allows him to see results within a year, that would be something that he could brag about at the party. And it would be tempting as fuck. What could it possibly be? I haven't the slightest idea. Maybe buying 10,000 Teslas or so? So the way I see it, this whole 145% tariff fiasco, although it's really cool, will probably be done by the end of next week. In fact, by then, it'll probably drop down to 50%. And then, after the 75 other countries have made their negotiations, and a true trade alliance is established, and once the midterm elections are finished, that is when the real trade war will begin. But hey, that's just me. I could be wrong. What do you guys think? Remember to like, comment, subscribe, get yourself some Bao Mi Hua, the link down below, and I will see you on the flip side. Peace!